I'm Keshai Chad, and let's queer up faith. LGBTQ plus Christians leaving churches as anti-gay policies drive faith shift across the U.S. A growing number of LGBTQ plus Americans raised in Christian households are leaving the church or seeking more affirming faith communities as tensions between sexuality and religion continue across the United States. Research from the Williams Institute at UCLA shows nearly 2/3 of LGBTQ plus people raised Christian no longer identify with the faith. Experts point to long-standing anti-LGBTQ plus teachings in many major denominations as a key factor behind the shift. While some churches, including parts of the Methodist, Presbyterian, Episcopal, and Unitarian Universalist traditions, openly welcome queer members, many conservative denominations still oppose same-sex relationships or require celibacy from gay believers. Religious researchers say younger Americans are also reshaping the future of faith in the U.S. According to Pew Research Center data, only 46% of adults ages 18 to 24 identify as Christian, compared to 80% of Americans who are 74 and older. Younger adults are also far more likely to identify as religiously unaffiliated. Psychologists and faith leaders say LGBTQ plus inclusion has become a defining issue for many younger believers deciding whether to remain connected to religion. So as a spiritual person who was christened as a child, I'm grateful that I was never forced to practice. I come from a very progressive, open-minded family, and as a teen, I leaned more into Buddhism and Hinduism. And as I became more politically involved, I really wanted to see a divide between church and state, because I find that around the world, many cultures, many governments often utilize religion as a weapon to commit harm towards the LGBT community. And I wish that there were more people of faith in power that actually used it to unite each other, because we see how, for instance, the story we talked about with trans youth, a lot of religion in a lot of conservative talking points are used to hold them back. And I'm grateful for places like the Sunshine Cathedral.
100%.
And there's a lot of places like that here in South Florida, but we can't ignore the harm that religion has done to LGBTQ community, as well as numerous other issues in American history that religion was utilized as a
weapon, like you said.
Yes.
And that's what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's happening here. You know, you took us to church, literally.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I learned a lot from your story, you know? And the one thing that popped out was that celibacy for gay believers?
Why? Why?
I haven't been celibate since the start of this show. Sorry about that, Edward.
Andrew, that's not true.
You can't preach God is love on Sunday and then hand queer people rejection on Monday. You can't. You know what I mean? Young people are not leaving faith because they hate God. They're leaving spaces where they were told God hates them, right? And that's why places like Sunshine Cathedral, Unity on the Bay exist, and they open their doors to all the queer people you want. You know what I mean?
You know, I agree with almost everything you said, but I will take exception to one thing. You wish we had more spiritually minded people in Congress. I disagree. I would like to see 435 congressmen and 100 senators all be atheist. Because right now, no, I mean, this is what it has been for the entire term of our republic. It's constitutionally protected discrimination.
100%.
And, you know, I'm not going to sit here. I mean, I'll sit here and praise, and I'm not going to hate on Sunshine and UCC Church. But on balance, and going back even before Christianity, even before the Common Era, religion has always been used as a bludgeon for power, to prop up governments,
to start wars.
And you look at our current regime. You've got Pete Heggs, where Heggs said, "I'm going to go play war," and he's all like, "We need to be a Christian nation." He's not against religion running countries. He's just against Muslims, against Judaism. He's against anything other than fundamental Christianity ruling governments. And that should be scary to everyone.
I want to just look at this data again 1 second, because, 46% of adults aged 18 to 24 identify as Christian compared to 80% of Americans who are 74 and older. So we're seeing a lot of, the older folks that are just kind of dwindling off. And the newer, like you said, the newer generation that's coming in is more accepting of diverse type of, teachings and stuff. As someone, who grew up with very confusing religious beliefs, I grew up as a Lutheran, but then later on, as my family changed, they all decided that they wanted to explore Catholicism, and they all went to the Catholic Church. So, when I was a teenager, I went there and saw all of the negativity towards our community, and it really more or less shut the door on my experiences with religion. And to be quite honest, even still today, I still have a hard time going into some of these, places of worship. But I realize that not every church is the same, and not every experience is the same. So,
of course,
and we are so grateful down here to have Sunshine Cathedral, the United Church of Christ, and so many other blessing, places where people can gather just to be spiritual and just to be loving. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah. And folks at home, okay, it's hard in our community, and we deserve to be able to go to a religious place, to a spiritual place, to wherever it is. When churches bring family, bring relationships, bring social circles, help so much and so many different dynamics, it can be useful done the right way,
And it's a personal thing.
But I mean, I know gay people that will go to the Catholic service every Sunday. Like, it's like punishment, like, on them. Yeah. Like, why would you put yourself through that? Like, well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.